Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And, you know, it's been a while since we had some Godzilla on this channel. Let's change that with today's review, the Bandai Creation First Wave 1954 Godzilla. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, this is usually where I would take the time to look at the packaging, but I lost that many moons ago. So instead, trash can. I don't know. Alright, on to the figure. So, here we have the classic Godzilla. And this figure was actually part of the first wave of figures to come from Bandai Creation. And that was all the way back in 2002. So, yeah, he's a bit of an older figure. Now, at the time, this was not a new mold. This was actually a slight remold of an older 54 Godzilla. I believe that figure came out in 98. Like I said, the mold was a little different. The back spines were different. The arms and legs, I think, were also different. I think it was pretty much just the main torso that was basically the same. But everything else was slightly different on that. But they look pretty much identical. The main difference between the two of them was that figure's paint job made it look like it was straight out of a black and white movie. This figure did not go with the same approach. But, yeah, so just thought I'd mention that. Also, before we get further into this, I do want to apologize if if you spot any dirt on this figure throughout the review, because when I was a kid, I loved playing with this figure, and I also loved playing with it outside. So over the years, it accumulated quite a bit of dirt. And I did try to clean it all off, but man, I swear, some of it is just ingrained into the figure. It's just part of it now. I tried my best. I got like an old toothbrush and was like scrubbing, trying to get in all of the grooves and nooks and crannies, but I just couldn't get them all. So if you spot any dirt on the figure throughout this review, we're just going to have to deal with it. And with that, I think we are done with the history of this figure. Let's actually get into the review of it, huh? Wouldn't that be a novel idea? Alright, so let's get a little closer. So, here we have it. Here we have the figure. And like always, I can't speak, we're going to start with the articulation. And since it's a Bandai Creation figure, it ain't got much of that. So yeah, its arms can move all the way around. Both arms can do that. Just go up and down. The legs can also go all the way around, but I don't feel like doing that. And the tail can't really move too much. It is a separate piece, but that is pretty much the only amount of movement you're going to get out of it, because the peg that plugs into the body is oval instead of a round shape, and because of that, it doesn't really waggle at all. So, unfortunate, but all this figure can really do is just say hi and give you a little front kick. So, yeah, that's pretty much all it's going to be doing. But like I said, Bandai Creation is not really known for its articulation. So, it's kind of just expected with these kinds of figures. Now, on to the details. Which I don't know why I lowered the camera. I'm going to have to raise it up again. Anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. You expect me to know what I'm doing? No. Anyways, so, alright, come on. Whoa. Camera wigged down there for a second. Okay. So we have the face. Whoa. Camera keeps wigging out. So we got the face. There we go. Looks a little better. We got the face, which looks quite nice. Sculpt work is pretty good. He has a little ear. Some Godzilla designs leave that out. They completely forego the ear, but I kind of like it. Even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense of why a big reptile would have a full-on ear, but yeah, it's part of the look. Anyways, so you get the sculpt work, and it's quite nice. Big old tail. Well, not big, it's not really that big, but you know what I mean. It's got the little sections of the tail. You got the back spines, which are not super accurate to how they look in the movie. Like, they get the kind of idea across, but they don't look a whole lot like they did in that film. So yeah, if you want a 54 Godzilla figure with more accurate spines, there's actually a later version which looks a bit more like the movie. But this one's still pretty cool. It's got like I also like how like they try to replicate like the creases from like the suit. I think that's pretty cool. So it looks like a big old guy in a suit, which is what the original Godzilla was. So I think that's kind of cool. You get that and like the calves and the shins. That would be the calf. I know anatomy. The shins and the little torso area here, you can see where it's like kind of like creasing together, which is kind of like how the suit would look sometimes if like the actor inside would move. But yeah, overall, I think the sculpt work is pretty nice. Paint, there's not really too much paint on them. It just got the claws are painted, teeth. Oops, you can't see that. Set the camera again. You got the teeth. You got a red tongue, which apparently bugs some people. They're not a big fan of the red tongue because the original Godzilla was in black and white. So the fact they made the tongue red bugs them. Me, I don't really care. I think it's fine. But you got the simple eyes, just painted white. Black people. You got the spines, which some of the paint has scraped off over the years, but considering that this figure is over 20 years old, and considering how rough I was with my toys when I was a kid, I was a wild man back then, I was surprised there's any paint left on this thing at all, so it is pretty durable, I would say, considering everything that's been put through. So the fact that only the amount that is scraped off, I think that's pretty impressive. They don't really sculpt the teeth too much. It's just kind of like one line of plastic, and you just kind of get like indentions of teeth, and they just kind of painted those. If you can see that, yeah, that's better. You can kind of see that. So yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm trying to think. I think that's how most Bandai Creation figures work. I don't think they actually do sculpt the individual teeth. Maybe they do. I don't know. But yeah. So yeah. Overall, I think it's a pretty nice figure. And my camera's wigging out again. I don't know what's up with it, but it's been wigging out. So yeah, overall, I think it is a pretty nice figure. It is a little lacking, and even more modern Bandai Creation figures are a bit better than this one. But I still think it's good. So yeah. Now we're done talking about the figure. Time to move on to the size comparisons. So, here we have it with a Lego minifigure. The Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. And with the Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. Alright, now, I want to pause the size comparisons here right quick just to say, is it just me, or are these not the exact same figure? Just one is shrunken down. Like, they look... Hang on, let me raise the camera a bit here. Focus. They look exactly the same. It's like they even got like the same like curvature of the tail, the back spines, just like, I swear this is that, but just shrunken down. I don't know. It's even got the red tongue. You can kind of see that. Yeah, it's like the sculpt of the hands, just everything about it, it's the same thing. I don't know why that has bothered me for so many years, but yeah, so this tiny little thing is the same as that. Anyways, alright. Sorry. Didn't mean to pause the size comparisons, but I just had to do that little rant. Alright. Okay, to continue the size comparisons, what we have with the Bandai Creation Showa Gigan, with the Bandai Creation's Godzilla 2000, with the Playmates Jet Jaguar, and the NECA Ultimate Edition Gypsy Danger, which is quite a bit bigger. And finally, here it is with the previous review, the Lego Dino Tower Takedown. Now with all that out of the way, measuring time. So measure him. Let me see, he's a little over 6 inches. I'd say about 6 1/4 inches is how big he is. So not super big, not super small. And honestly, I think that's a good size. The 6 to 7 inch range, I think, is a good size for Godzilla figures. At least in my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me. That's just how I feel about it. Anyway, so that has been my review of this figure. And overall thoughts, I think it is pretty cool. It is a little dated, I will admit, but I do still think it is a fun, cool figure. Although this was my very first... Oops, I'm bumping stuff. This was my very first Godzilla figure, so maybe I'm biased, but I still like him. I still think he's pretty cool. And it's definitely durable enough to... lost my train of thought. It can take a beating. It is a very durable figure. You ain't gotta worry about this thing breaking. Because I've had an assortment of Godzilla figures over the years, and like I mentioned earlier, I was a wild kid, so I was pretty rough with them, and some of the other ones broke. But this one, my very first, never broke. Like you can see, nothing on this guy has broken. So they built this thing to be pretty dang sturdy. So yeah, so if you are looking to get a Godzilla figure for like your kid, but you worry about them breaking it, you ain't gotta worry about that with this figure. It ain't gonna break anytime soon. So yeah. And if you are looking to pick this figure up, obviously you can't get it in stores anymore because it's over 20 years old. But last time I looked on eBay, it was going for around 25 to 30 bucks, which is a bit much for something like this. 30 bucks is quite expensive for this figure. But considering that some other older Bandai Creation figures go for like $80, it doesn't seem as bad as comparison. Yeah, it's nice to have a Godzilla figure you don't have to sell a kidney to be able to afford, you know, so. It is a little expensive, but not, like, crazy expensive. So, if you like him, like I like him, I think he's kind of worth the $30. Kind of. Maybe. I don't know, I'll leave that up to you. But yeah, I think that's it. So, hope you enjoyed this review of this figure. I forgot the name. The Bandai Creations 1954 Godzilla. So yeah, see you later. Sayonara. Bye.